Beyblade X is the most competitive generation of all time for the Beyblade franchise. It is the generation with the most strategies, the most techniques, and requiring the most important skills to be able to take a step into the competitive scene and win. One cannot win on luck alone. Today we are diving into understanding your bays and your combos to help you achieve your goals of being a Beyblade master. Now, in past generations, being able to compete in a tournament, whether it be sanctioned pro event or simply a casual tournament at your local game store, winning was relatively easy to do so. There was always a single part which you can equip to your bay and take a quick and easy win. However, Beyblade X broke from the age-old curse of Beyblade, making every bay potentially viable for competitive play. Now, as for certain parts in past generations, launch techniques lacked quite a bit, only truly containing two forms of launch, an angle launch for attack types and a flat launch for stamina and defense, making it exceptionally easy for you to strategize against your opponent. But with how insanely competitive Beyblade X is, how do you win? How do you prepare or strategize? Now, if you're wanting to compete and get into Beyblade X, make sure you go head on over to malloftoys.com. They have everything from the earliest plastic generation all the way up to the latest generation of Beyblade X. And they have even the pre-orders for the all-new CX bays available now. Just make sure you guys use code LeftSpinBeys2. It'll knock off 5% off that total price for you. Now, that is malloftoys.com. The very first thing you need to know is your bay. Understanding your bay is key to winning any battle at any level, at any field of play, no matter the external factors that work against you. Taking a look at your combo, starting off first with the blade. What shape is it? What types of angles are on it? Where are the main contact points from which it is hitting the opposing bay the most? Understanding that will give you a better idea of how to best approach your opponent in battle. It will help you know what launch form you need to undertake to completely take control of the battle and show no mercy to your opponent. Take Golem Rock, for example. You can see that the sloped edges all around the bay, as well as 4 deadly protrusions at the bottom of the blade. This gives you the idea that this blade could deliver some mean upper attacks with a high possibility of bursting your opponent with a single strike. Applying a combo that is high might not be the best suit for this blade, so equipping it with a low combo using a low bit or an underbit as well as a 60 height ratchet can help maximize the full potential of Golem Rock's blade. More than that, when examining the blade's design and the rugged edges, you can see that this blade would do well not just for countering attacks, but also in delivering some heavy attacks itself. Stock Golem has broken the defense meta, showing the world defense types do matter. However, a tournament winning combo uses Golem's blade with an attack build with a 760 ratchet and a low rush bit. However, when looking at other blades such as Silver Wolf, for example, you'll see yourself in a bit of a different situation. With Silver Wolf having a gimmick down low but a smooth metal ring above, Wolf can be used fairly well on either a 60 ratchet or an 80 ratchet. However, with how smooth the blade's design is, you'll find it relatively difficult to be able to deliver heavy attacks with minimal contact points on the blade that are pronounced enough. Putting Wolf on an attack build can backfire quite significantly. In most cases, bladers equipping Wolf blade to an attack type bit or even just a more aggressive bit has resulted in Wolf being the #1 most broken bay in Beyblade X, with almost every competitive player having more than one Silver Wolf in the bay graveyard. The jagged edges on the metal blades assist in distributing the heavy contact that Beyblade X's insane, unmatched speed can produce. Smooth, evenly spaced out blades can better deflect that impact, reducing it tremendously and reducing the risk of the bay breaking. With the jagged edges of Golem Rock versus smooth edges of Silver Wolf, Golem Rock is more compatible with an attack type build than Silver Wolf is. However, with the Silver Wolf's blade, the design is a perfect balance. It's capable of outspinning nearly every bay in the game with a perfectly aerodynamic design. Equipping Wolf to a non-aggressive bit such as Hexa, Freeball, or Ball can benefit the blade in the long run, not only giving you a higher chance of continuous win after win, but also reducing the risk of simply having to buy another Wolf blade. With blades such as Silver Wolf, combo building can be more complex than the standard BX line Bey. As mentioned earlier, its design is capable of being used on any height ratchet, but with different performance outcomes. Equipping an 80 ratchet to Wolf's blade allows for the general opponent to strike the free spinning gimmick on the lower blade, draining the attack power and the spin speed of the attacking Bey with an exceptionally high success rate. Now, on the other hand, equipping a 60 ratchet to Wolf will eliminate the chances of the free spinning gimmick on Wolf's blade to be used, shifting all attacks to the main blade. Normally this would have ill consequences, but with how round and how smooth the blade is for Silver Wolf on the main blade, this is perfect for being able to parry attacks and taking on a more defensive stance while in battle. Now always take the time to understand how the blade works best in battle, examine it, test it, and eventually you'll be able to start winning more consistently in tournament settings or even just a simple casual battle amongst friends or family. Now beyond understanding how the blade is designed while building your combo, understanding the best launch form is crucial for winning battle after battle. With Beyblade X, there are several launch techniques never before seen in Beyblade in all 25 years. Various angles, various locations, launch power, string launcher or winder launcher. Knowing what your Bey needs to be able to overcome and outperform every other Bey in the tournament will give you a distinct edge in battle. Finding the right launcher can change the game. Both winder launchers and string launchers are both highly used in tournaments. Between using a string launcher and a winder launcher, techniques and launch form can change dramatically. String launchers offer a far greater control over a Bey, whereas a winder can give you the ultimate spin at the cost of control. String launchers are both a beginner's gateway to understanding launch techniques and launch form, but are also highly used by pro bladers in large tournaments due to the ability to better control your launch. Depending on the Bey you have chosen and the deck you have can determine what launcher you should select for your upcoming match. Beys that are lightweight and utilize the extreme line tend to not perform as well using a winder launcher, since the winder can overpower the Bey. An overpowered Bey can oftentimes be uncontrollable and self-KO quite a bit, quite literally flying out of the stadium into the over-finish zone when utilizing the accelerator rail. It can easily self-burst just by grazing the extreme line, costing you the game. Take for example a Bey equipped with Gear Ball. Gear Ball is a hyper-aggressive stamina type bit. Aside from the natural low burst resistance of the Gear Ball, when launched with a winder, a Bey can easily be overpowered, causing the Gear Ball to pick up speeds that exceeds its capabilities, oftentimes causing it to self-burst just by touching the extreme line. So using a string launcher can benefit the Bey in the long run, reserving its stamina capabilities. However, when equipping it with a heavier blade, the option of being able to use a winder safely becomes available, though still carrying the risk of self-bursting with the bit's natural low burst resistance. Knowing your Bey's weight and weight distribution can aid you in understanding whether or not you would want to use a string launcher or a winder launcher. And with that, stepping forward to the Bey podium, hovering over that stadium with your opponent directly across you, you will need to understand and master a wide variety of launch techniques. But which launch technique is best? Which one do I use? The fact of the matter is, there is no one supreme launch technique in Beyblade X. Your launch techniques and your launch form should reflect in your Bey's build, as well as what you are looking towards accomplishing in the match. Do you want to outspin your opponent? Are you wanting to end things quickly and burst your opponent, or get a bunch of over finishes? Or do you want to witness the unseen and perform the perfect extreme finish? Every bit functions differently with different launch forms, some better than others. Meanwhile, your ratchet and your blade's design will also determine how steep of an angle you'll want to launch, if angled at all. Having a Bey equipped with 760 and a low bit tilted too steep of an angle can cause some serious scraping with the ratchet that oftentimes causes the Bey to self-burst as a ratchet touches the accelerator rail rather than the bit. Super tall Beys equipped with a ball bit can get too top heavy and can at times cause the Bey to be completely unstable and simply tip over. Now, certain ratchets that are high risk for burst need to be more protected and more hidden, so launching your Bey flat and towards the center can benefit most of them in the long run, reducing the chances of being bursted in battle. Bits such as needle, high needle, and most defensive bits are better with an angled launch, as their design allows for the Bey to be able to spin at that axis and that angle with a relatively perfect balance to be able to deflect oncoming attacks rather than simply taking them on head on like in the past generations. Balance type bits offer you a wide range of various launch forms that could completely change how your Bey performs in battle. Different angles, different locations where you want to aim your Bey, and even different levels of power of your launch can determine what type your balance type Bey can be. Attack type bits, each similar to one another, but each unique in their own right, can produce separate outcomes in battle. Cyclone equipped to a right spinning Bey can function similar to Rush. However, when equipped to a left spin Bey, can give the Bey a unique movement in battle that can completely change depending on the angle and the location the Bey lands when launched in the stadium. Most stamina type bits perform best with a slightly tilted launch to give them the movement needed to avoid and outspin attacking Beys, while also reserving stamina by avoiding the extreme line. Now, however, in the end, when deciding on a bit you want to run with your Bey, it all falls back to the three biggest questions you must ask yourself. What is your Bey's greatest strength? What is your Bey's greatest weakness? And most importantly, how do you want to win the battle? Understanding what your Bey is good at and what types and your opponents your Bey can dominate over, and what kind of combos your Bey actually struggles against the most with, is crucial to becoming a successful pro blader. When finding combos that your Bey struggles against and taking more L's than W's, that does not mean your combo is bad. Try widening your array of launch forms in your arsenal. Aim for different locations in the stadium. Switch from string launcher to winder, or even winder to string. Just because it loses one or two combos does not mean that you'll be down and out in a tournament setting. Tournament gameplay is completely different than testing your combos at home. Now, in the end, becoming a force to be reckoned with in your local, regional, national, or even the world stage in tournaments for Beyblade X, make sure you always inspect your Beys. Check the blade's design. Check the Bey's contact points, its weight distribution, what height functions best and most optimally with the blade's design. Determine which launcher works best for your combo. Does it need that ultimate spin, that maxed out power to win, or does it need a more controlled to aim for specific locations in the stadium? And adjust your launch form according to your combo and your Bey. Battle against and train against all types and all builds. It is good to know not just how good your combo and your Bey is, but also knowing where it struggles at the most. Knowing the weaknesses of your Bey will help you determine if you need to change up your launch form, change the launcher, or even change where you're going to launch your Bey. Your Bey's launch form may be different in each battle at a tournament with each Bey you're up against, so practice different angles and different launch forms and techniques to optimize your Bey's performance. And that is everything for this video, and as always, I do appreciate you sticking around and watching and supporting my channel. Stay tuned, we do have more Beyblade X content coming to LeftSpinBeys, including a special collaboration video with a couple surprise guests discussing launch forms and launch techniques that you're not going to want to miss. It is also finally March and Beyblade Day is near us, and we are having the Protagonist Anniversary set coming soon, as well as the releases for the CX line to finally check out, and so much more. But in the meantime, I hope this video does help you as you work your way up to winning some tournaments and becoming a pro blader. In the meantime, have yourselves a great night, and I'll catch you in the next video.